Howdy, yokes. Before we get started today, we want to let you know that this episode of Bacon and Eggs is brought to you by our fantastic patrons. If you love this show and you want more of it, the best way to show us your support is to go to patreon.com/baconandeggs and check out all the great reward tiers we have over there. If you feel like this show brings you more value than like the price of a cup of coffee over the course of a month, like if you listen to it multiple times or anything like that, then it would really mean a lot to us for you to check it out. Pick one of the reward tiers that means something to you and make a pledge. It's once a month. You can cancel at any time, and we're coming towards the start of a new month where if you pledge on the 2nd, you're not charged until the following 1st. So like if you pledge on November 2nd, we won't charge you until December 1st, which is my birthday. So like think about that as you're making the pledge. But yes, it's a great way. Like if you're like, I don't know if I'm going to get value out of these things, then you can try it out. If you don't like it, you leave, and no harm, no foul. But yeah, go ahead and check it out. Patreon.com/baconandeggs. Thank you so much for those of you who do donate. And let's get on with the show. Howdy, yokes, and welcome back to Bacon and Eggs. I'm Tyler Carlin.
And I'm Ethan Edgehill.
And today we're mining spice.
Or maybe we're just assuming our destiny is the Kwisatz Haderach.
So use the voice.
And praise Shai Hulud.
Because today we're bringing you
Dune!
Dune was directed by Denis Villeneuve.
No,
it came
see,
out.
that's why I wrote it out for you.
I was right the second time.
No,
came
you
out.
were wrong the second time. You were right the first time.
Uh-huh.
Like Billy Joel once said, get it right the first time.
You mean Billy Joel? Dune was released on October 22nd, 2021, which is just 5 days ago. It had a $165 million budget. So far has made $223.2 million at the global box office. 40 of those $1 million came at the American box office, but it is streaming on HBO Max, so that's a very impressive number.
I also don't think that includes today.
No, that's open on the
It might
weekend.
just be Sunday. Yeah, through Sunday.
84% critic rating, 91% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 74 on Metacritic. Ethan, do you have a positive or negative?
I have a negative review here from Richard Brody at the New York Times, wherever Richard Brody, the New Yorkers, the New York Magazine,
The New Yorker.
The New Yorker.
Yeah.
Richard Brody says, the movie's stripped-down material world correlates with a stripped-down emotional one. Narrow, facile, and unambiguous. And I picked that review from Richard Brody because, like the world created by Frank Herbert in the famous sci-fi book Dune, it's full of absolute nonsense words designed to make somebody sound smart and superior.
Yes. It also is not filled with enough words. I was very annoyed by how little dialogue there is in this. Like, I get it. Somebody sat Denis Villeneuve down.
Hey, Tyler, I have not yet asked for your opinions. I would like to know what a professional critic said about this movie first so we can get into the meat and potatoes of this show.
Fortunately, this is one of the first like proper blockbusters we've done in a while where both Richard Brody and Peter Rainer both have a recorded review.
Peter Rainer from the Christian Science Monitor.
Peter Rainer from the Christian Science Monitor said, I admire any director who is able to create a self-contained world on such a scale, but this is an epic for the eye, not the heart. Rating 3 out of 5. So it is a positive review. It gets into that positive review column, but it I would say is more negative than positive.
I've got a listener review here from the Mighty Toothless, who says 89 out of 100. Phenomenal cinematography, amazing score. Pacing was a bit slow, but that can be forgiven because of Villeneuve's fantastic vision. And I have another listener review here from Casey the Space Poet, who says 87 out of 100. Spaceships.
I have one from Liam 2.0, who says 60 out of 100. The editing felt somewhat juvenile in the cutting and pacing. The world building didn't bore me, but the performances from everyone apart from the very lead actors did. Also, I respect Dennis a lot, but a lot of visual styles was plucked directly from Arrival, and am I the only one who can't stand Timothée Chalamet?
Yes. Liam,
yes,
I'm sorry to inform you, you are the only one, maybe in the world, that cannot stand Timothée Chalamet.
I like Timothée Chalamet and everything I've seen him in. I was sold on Timothée Chalamet in this.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
0 out of 100, Tyler. 0 out of 100. Let's get into it. This is a big movie. It's a long movie. It's full of stuff. Let's get into it.
79.
79.
Yeah.
Tell me about that real quick.
I like it a lot. I think that on rewatch, I will see a lot that I missed. And when there's a full series of these, it will be one of the greats. But as it stands right now, it feels very incomplete and like it judged me a lot. And it also felt like I was promised Lord of the Rings meets Star Wars, but what I was given was 300 meets Rocky, and I just didn't love that aspect of it.
Not really getting your meaning there, but
what are you talking about? They were like, oh, this is the greatest sci-fi epic of all time. It's like sci-fi Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, no, that's not. I'm not talking about the Rocky thing. I don't.
Okay, but then okay, you don't get the Rocky thing where it was like, we're going to take a scrappy group of people and we're going to pit them up against a big bad group of people and they're going to go to the sand planet and mine spite. Like, dude, it was
Except they're not scrappy. They're known to be the greatest warriors in the galaxy.
Except for the big bad Russians. I mean, the big bad other people that were already there in Saudi Arabia. I mean, Arrakis. Like, it was so Cold War, so smack you in the face with it.
1965, so
I am well aware. It just smacked you right in the face with it. And like the result of Dune, like there's so many clear watching Dune and familiarizing myself with the story and with the writing style and with the characters and the world building, you can see inspirations of Dune in so many other works. Like so much of Star Wars makes sense. So much of Sanderson's writing makes sense. So much of everything that you see comes from Dune. And I love when I get to like experience a work like that. And I'm a big fan of like pre-moon landing sci-fi. So this is right up my alley.
No, see, I don't think it is, actually.
But I like pre-moon landing sci-fi on our solar system.
Yeah, that's where I like my hard science fiction. Okay, so this is a flat 75 out of 100, right? I don't like. They're supposed to be subjective scores, right? Like the Bacon and Egg scores, but like I kind of have to rubric this one. Is the problem just in my own brain because this movie truly scores top marks on everything except story.
It hits top marks on everything except X Factor, which it desperately needed.
It's not even X Factor. X Factor would make it like 125 out of 100. This is a 75 out of 75, right? Like this achieved maximum score of 75, right? Like
it's as good as visuals, it can possibly be.
Perfect. Acting, perfect. Writing, great. Original story content, non-existent. Don't care at all. At all. I have never, ever understood why people get so freaking pressed about this book series and its adaptations. I saw the David Lynch version. I've seen it more than once. It's fine. This is also fine, right? Like
it's big, dude. It's big. So big.
This is one of my favorite movies ever, and I hated it, if that makes any sense. Like,
I know exactly what you mean.
I love that this movie exists because they made something like this on honestly what is a shoestring budget for this type of movie. $165 million?
$165 million? Yeah, to create a planet.
That's 3 Hunger Games. That's it. That's nothing. That's nothing for this type of movie. You could make this 3 times for what they made like Pirates 4 on.
Yeah. And so that was the most expensive movie ever for like a long time until Endgame. But
for what reason?
No reason whatsoever. But on the flip side of that, like the movie has, I think it's missing, what's the word people use? Heart is what people say.
It has no
like
it has
Timothée
no heart, it has no
comes
levity. It's so serious. All the time.
It's so serious all the time. But I do get the, like, where this movie failed. This is going to be an unpopular opinion, and I'm really scared to say it because I think people are going to miss what I'm trying to say. But where this movie fails, there's another movie with exactly the same plot that thrives and has heart, but it misses a lot of what this has.
Yeah.
But it has stunning visuals. Do you know what movie I'm talking about?
No.
Avatar.
Oh, yeah.
It's the exact same thing.
Absolutely. So there are 2 versions. Well, this is about, from what I understand, this is about 40% of the book captured in this movie. So Dune Part 2 is greenlit as of this morning, by the way.
Oh, that's good. I didn't think there was a question to that.
I still don't think there's a question, is the thing. Because nobody knew it was supposed to be Dune Part 1 until it came out on Friday, right? Like he hit that one very well. And then released it as Dune Part 1. And here's my thing. I think they filmed them back to back and are just lying about it.
Yeah.
And they're like, slated for October 2023. And then like next, August, they're going to be like, surprise!
October 2022.
Dune Part 2, October 1st. Let's go.
Yeah.
So there are two versions, extant versions of this movie. There's the David Lynch version, which is hated by fans of the book. and it's like it's kind of dumb, it's kind of campy, but like not in a Star Wars way, more in like
it's like Galaxy Quest, right?
Yeah, but more serious than that. Like it's a sincere movie, right? Like it's not satire.
What's the one that they always do in biology class? Gattaca?
Gattaca.
Like
Gattaca's
that,
not
right?
campy.
No,
Gattaca falls more
serious.
toward this than Star Wars.
Yeah. Gattaca, every time it showed up in biology class or whatever, I had to like miss a day of school. So I've seen bits and pieces.
Gattaca, despite being a movie that we watched in school, Gattaca is a legitimately good film.
Yeah, I'm not denying that. I know, like, I've been in film circles long enough to know that Gattaca's
right, but
good.
like a lot of the movies we watched in school were trash, right?
Right.
Like dumb movies. Anyway, what I didn't realize until I saw this movie is how much George Lucas whole hog stole from this book series.
Yeah, he was like,
I guarantee you, he sat down in 1975 or whenever to write Star Wars and was like, man, if they were going to make Dune into a book or a movie, they'd have already done it by now. So I'm just going to steal it. I'm just going to take it.
If Han Solo was going to smuggle something, what would it be?
Spice.
If Luke, if I had a gospel
if
writer
I had to pick
for
a different name for one of the Gospels for my main character.
I guess there's no Paul Gospel. It's Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. But Paul's a big character. If
you had to pick not a gospel, a different apostle.
Yeah. Luke. Yeah, we'll go with that. And where's he from? Desert planet. And what's on that desert planet?
Drugs and worms.
Yeah. Although it ends up being like crate dragons and sarlacc pits. But like, what's a sarlacc pit but a low budget worm?
Oh yeah, no, the sarlacc absolutely is just a Shai Hulud.
Yeah. I like the worms. I'm in on that. I'm
in
on the worms.
The worms being like relatively chill is like a very interesting plot twist in the original movie.
What
like
I
the,
like
the
about
worms being like controllable, like useful.
Yeah. But what I love about the worms in general is that they are this like, they give character to the fact that it's a desert planet beyond just like, man, living on a desert planet would suck. You know what I mean? Like they really set the landscape as like, oh, it's not just a desert planet. Imagine you could walk on the ocean and giant squids tried to eat you.
Right.
And I love that. Like it, and also the giant squids controlled the tides and they changed things. Like I love that they have this impact on the planet and on the land. And it's not just living in the desert would be hot and water would be valuable.
It's a very interesting, because like Star Wars: A New Hope is just this book, this movie, like almost Disney-fied, right? Like almost like family friendly a little bit. Not that like Star Wars is like a kid movie or whatever, but just like everything is like kind of watered down in a positive way.
Yeah.
Because like I can't even imagine what the first page of this book is like. It has to
find out.
It has to
right over there.
Yeah. There can't be a single like legible word on the first page.
No, this is.
It's so heavy.
There's a very fine line in the world of sci-fi where this is why I like terrestrial. What's the word we use for the sci-fi in our galaxy?
I can't remember.
But like, this is why I like sort of rooted in reality sci-fi is because this is fantasy on another planet. You know, this is if there was a prologue to Lord of the Rings where Tolkien says Middle Earth is not regular Earth. It's a different planet.
It's not even that, though, because, like, at the beginning, and honestly, I would have taken either or, right? I would have taken either a, 10-minute exposition scene where they explained to me about Arrakis' version of Sauron and who House Atreides was. Or I would have taken, like, a title crawl that is like, House Harkonnen, House Atreides have been at war for centuries in the galaxy over control of the Spice Mines. Like, you have to do one or the other. And they were just like, we're going to let Zendaya be spooky.
I'll tell you what, I wanted her to be a character in this movie so bad.
I'll tell you what, I want her out of the next movie.
Really?
Yeah, it took me out of it immediately. She's the only person I didn't like.
Really?
Legitimately, through the whole cast. I thought everybody was brilliant. And then she starts talking, and I'm just like, nope, you're just Zendaya.
You didn't think when Jason Momoa showed up?
No, I thought Jason Momoa's Duncan Idaho was fantastic, actually.
When
I really did.
When Jason Momoa showed up and then they started doing the Wonder Woman music, I was like, I don't know about all
They
this.
didn't do that, though.
Yeah, they did. They did like the like every time Jason Momoa was on the screen.
They did that a lot in the movie, and I don't think Wonder Woman either invented or has claim to that type of music. And I would tread carefully with what more you say about it.
It was like a meme when, what was the movie she was in? I guess Justice League. It was the Zack Snyder Justice League, where like every time she showed up, they played this same music.
Okay, that's how most of these superhero movies work.
I know, but it was this same like pained grunt music.
It wasn't the thing.
No, man, that would have been awesome.
This was I'm just talking about stuff right now because like I have no real earthly clue what happened in this movie.
I don't really either.
It's just endless exposition.
You at least saw it in a theater.
Oh, I'll tell you what, and this was going to lead into the point that I was talking about. So I didn't see it in IMAX because we don't have an IMAX around here.
You didn't see it around here. You saw it 45 minutes away.
There's not an IMAX there either. But I saw it in like the Regal RPX.
Yeah.
Which has like the Dolby Atmos with the speakers in the chairs. I'm deaf now. I can't hear anymore. I may never recover from this movie.
I almost watched it on my iPhone, and then I was like, that's excessive.
That's excessive.
You can't go that small with Dune.
That's excessive. Yeah. No, because it is a big movie, right? Like it is. I mean, it's a visual feast, right? Like this dude, this team. I will trust them to make any blockbuster, right? Like I don't have any issue with the acting or the writing or the casting or the scripting or the directing or anything. I just don't care about the story, right? Like none of these characters are interesting to me whatsoever.
I just don't know, like, what is Paul gonna do? Fusro Da his way into this group?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Is that it?
He is the Kwisatz Haderach. He is Jesus, okay?
Right.
He's Jesus.
I think he's Brigham Young. It's got to be a Mormon thing,
I don't think so.
You don't think?
No.
Well, I guess because I guess if we're going with the, like, I don't know. So he must be Jesus, right? Because they're on the desert planet.
He's
60s.
Jesus.
Okay.
He has to die so that the Kwisatz Haderach can rise, right? Like,
if I'm not mistaken, Jason Momoa has already died.
The second book is called Dune: Messiah. He's Jesus.
Have you seen?
I don't know how to tell you this.
The third one, Jesus Christ Superstar.
What?
Have you seen the third installment, Jesus Christ Superstar?
No. I'll tell you though, this is not where I expected the Twilight franchise to go at all.
Oh, because we're reviewing
Twilight, yeah. The third Twilight movie was really weird. It took place on a whole different sand planet, 8,000 years in the future, where they still have Idaho for some reason.
Duncan, Idaho.
I'll tell you.
That took me out of it more than anything. It was freaking Frank Herbert being like...
And I'll tell you, because all week I've seen people be like, why do both Frank Herbert and George Lucas have to give their main protagonists such like bland white boy names? And I'm like, Paul Atreides is not the name you should have an issue with in Dune.
It's Duncan, Idaho.
Duncan, Idaho.
Paul Atreides... There's some really poor named right here. Like Paul, the Atreides family, very clearly the United States, like of treaties. That's what we would think in the 60s of the US. And then there's another character named like I-Bad.
What?
It's very, very briefly introduced at the beginning of the movie. I only know because I was watching it with subtitles. There's a character named I-Bad.
Huh.
Like I-B-A-D.
Boy, I would have killed for some subtitles.
Yeah.
Boy, I would have killed for some subtitles in that theater.
Or a game changer. Subtitles have been added in something like 1,400 theaters with like regular showings. I doubt we get it here, but that's a very exciting news.
Absolutely. I would go to those. I would gladly go to those showings. I would have loved that last night.
So I watched it on my television.
Yeah.
And you said you're deaf. I was riding the remote control. There was, because all those like serious scenes where there's no music and they were doing the like Interstellar thing where there's, like it's just quiet. Like they would still be whispering. And then on the loud scenes, it was crazy loud.
I'll tell you, whenever they did the voice and it just rumbled straight out of my own ass in that theater chair, like I would love to go back and watch Venom in one of those theaters. I think I would die. Like whenever the Venom voice starts coming straight up from under my sack, like that would freak me out, man.
I don't think you could pay me to watch Venom again.
Yeah, I don't think so. I haven't even seen the sequel, and I don't plan to.
Me neither. I know that there's a post-credit scene that like links Eddie Brock to the MCU, and I'm very upset about it.
Yeah. So I don't love this movie, right? Like, but I love that this movie exists. Just it pushes so many boundaries for like the blockbuster, right? It's because it's a direct, I think, both a direct response and an almost like an antithesis to what Marvel is doing. Because this is not Marvel in any way, right? Like this is
it's every superhero and Star Wars actor from the past 10 years.
Yeah, but
like this is an audition tape for Timothy Chalamet to play Harry Osborn if I've ever seen one.
I don't think he needs an audition tape anymore.
No, I
predict to you in a couple years that the best actor for the Academy Award for Best Actor in a dramatic role or whatever will go to Timothy Chalamet simply because he's the only person nominated.
He's the only one doing this level of drama.
Yeah, he's the only person doing movies. I'm sorry, he was in 2 movies that came out on Friday, and one of them was Dune.
Yeah, and the other one was something
The other
else.
was a Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah.
You don't see that very often.
No.
But yeah, no, Timothée Chalamet was great. Maybe just, I don't think he could have done any better in any possible way. Like, I loved his portrayal as Paul Atreides, because like Kyle MacLachlan in the David Lynch version, Kyle MacLachlan from Twin Peaks played Paul Atreides, and he was the absolute weak link in that cast. Like, he was so bad in that movie, and he's the main character, right? Like, your main character isn't supposed to be bad at acting. That's sort of like a cardinal rule of movies.
Well, okay, but let's counterpoint. Have you seen Star Wars?
I have.
No offense, Mark Hamill.
Oh, Mark Hamill looks like Luke Skywalker looks like a trained Shakespearean noble next to Kyle MacLachlan as Paul Atreides.
I think Luke was dealt a bad hand because I don't think Mark did a bad job, or Hayden for that matter. Mark did better. But when you put Mark next to Harrison, and it's like, man, he's so good.
Well, and like, again, dialogue has never quite been old George Lucas's strength.
Is that true for is that true for like American Graffiti?
Yeah.
It is? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, American Graffiti is a little bit... American Graffiti doesn't have to sell you on anything, right? Like,
right.
That's a movie about teenagers, like, racing hot rods.
America.
Yeah, in America, not on Tatooine.
Right.
But no, I love this movie exists. Like, it pushes the boundary in so many ways for what a blockbuster movie can be in the age of movies that make $1 billion, right? Like, because this is technical perfection, right? It is... They put an all-star cast together, and it almost never felt weird, right? Like, Josh Brolin being involved in the minor level that he was didn't feel weird.
No, I thought Josh Brolin was a highlight of this. Because I was like, well...
But that's the thing is, I think everybody's a highlight of it, right? Because I look at Oscar Isaac, and he did fantastic. I look at Josh Brolin, and he did fantastic. And
Stellan
Skarsgård, Javier Bardem, and the woman that plays Dr. Kynes is phenomenal. Like, everybody just crushed it. They're not interesting. They're not interesting characters.
Maybe we've been spoiled with things like the MCU and Star Wars, where we've been enjoying these characters and these stories for 20 some odd years. You know what I mean? Like, will we get to a point where it's like, it's really hard to buy into Dune because when an MCU movie comes out, I'm familiar with at least something to do with this. But when Dune comes out, it has to sell me on everything.
I have just based on what I've seen so far about people reviewing both of these properties, they got a fairly similar score. I think Dune does a better job of selling me on Duke Leto Atreides than Eternals is going to do on selling me on Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah, I think Eternals is going to be rough.
Yeah. Just because it faces the same problem, right? Where it's like it's separate from everything the MCU is doing. It's all new characters, and that's
10 of them.
And there's a bunch of them. But it's the same way I felt about this movie, though. Like, right, I cared because you get to know him and you go through it. Like, I cared when Duncan Idaho died, right? I didn't really care when like Gurney Halleck died. That's Josh Brolin.
Halleck? Oh, he died?
I mean, no. But you're supposed to think he's dead.
I guess when he I think the last thing I saw was he stepped out of the building and was like, everyone if it has guns, get it in the air. And I think that's the last thing I remember seeing.
See, here's the thing, right? Is because they're trying to pretend, they ended the movie trying to pretend like that dude's dead and like a bunch of stuff happened or didn't happen, right? But also, this movie kind of punishes you for not reading the book.
Well, it should. I think this one should.
I disagree. I don't think any movie should punish you for not reading the book. That's the wrong way to go about it. If you have to leave, because they left stuff out of character backstories, right? Because there were holes. There were huge gaping holes, the same way that Crimes of Grindelwald had.
This is better than Crimes of Grindelwald.
No, I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's the same level as Crimes of Grindelwald. I'm saying that we go from Paul being worried about Duncan going to Arrakis without him, right? Because he's afraid Duncan's going to die and he thinks he can help. And then 5 minutes later, Paul is on Arrakis and Duncan's fine. There's something missing out of that because the original movie, which was only one movie that covered the entire book, spent the first hour on Caladan. We spent like 30 minutes on Caladan in this 2.5 hour movie that wouldn't end.
So long. So freaking... When they were like, oh, it's part 1, I was like, maybe I will get some relief here. Maybe it'll be 2 hours.
The problem with this being part 1 is like you can't do Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows part 1 first. You have to do Sorcerer's Stone. Right.
Can you imagine young Paul as like this jovial character and we deal with that for like 7 years and then we get this movie?
It just needed to be an HBO series or a Netflix series or an HBO Max series or a Hulu series, right? Like, I'm not saying it can't be a movie, right? But it like this story demands
detail.
detail. It demands that sort of pacing because I don't feel like I know Duncan Idaho. I don't really feel like I know Paul Atreides. I know the mother, Jessica, more than I did from the original movie. And she was fantastic.
I don't know what I kept expecting Jessica to die because in all of his visions, which I think they're visions, it was just him and Zendaya. So I kept expecting them to land with people. I think this is a willful misdirect on the part of the writer.
I think he kind of sees the future like Alice Cullen sees the future, where
that doesn't help me.
Things can change it.
Right.
I forgot that you haven't watched all 5 movies and read 4 books since the last time we talked about Twilight.
Yeah, that doesn't.
You should interface with the Twilight series more.
I might. It's I'll watch the movies.
Nah, you should read the books. Hey Tyler, me as the biggest asshole and skeptic you know in your entire life, they're real good, man. We're wrong. We've been wrong. We've been very wrong.
I had a feeling we would.
They're real good.
I'm not against reading them because of some high and mighty. I'm too good to read the Twilight books. I just really slowed down my reading, and now I kind of know what Dune's about, so I'm going to try to read that.
I probably will not. I will read Dune before the next movie comes out. I probably will not read it until January, just because it's so long, and I can't really afford that kind of hit to my pace
disruption.
Yeah.
I've given up on pace, and I've spent 3 weeks straight on the same Mistborn book.
Well, I just read 4 Twilight books, and they're all pretty long.
As soon as I finish that, I'm going to pick up The Way of Kings and read that 30-hour audiobook. I finally got to the point where I'm comfortable reading these insanely long fantasy books, and I'm going to embrace that feeling.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also, if 30 hours is not long for you, dear listener, we are on different levels. We consume media differently.
Yeah, it would be cool if there was a good Dune audiobook.
Yeah,
they're all abridged.
The one on Audible is abridged, and it's just Paul, from what I understand. I haven't listened to it, obviously. I know, and I think there's a full cast one. Full cast is almost always all abridged. They usually don't have somebody sitting there saying, he said, she said.
Sure they do.
He said. Sometimes they do, but most of the
full cast audiobook, I would say more often than not has that.
You think?
Yeah. If it's not dramatized.
I always assume it's going to be dramatized if it's full cast. I try to, if I can avoid it, try not to listen to multiple narrators, because it also leaves chance that somebody's going to be a bad narrator.
I really stand by the full cast American Gods by Neil Gaiman. That one's completely, it's actually less abridged than most text versions.
Have you read American Gods this year?
I've listened to it.
You have?
Yeah. I've never read it on paper, actually.
Me neither. I haven't ever read it at all.
I mean, I've listened to it probably 10 times, but I've never read it on paper. I want to do that.
But have you, this is my brief book question, and we'll get back to Dune. Are there any books you've read this year that you already want to read again?
Lots. Yeah. I mean, if I wasn't doing the reading challenge, I probably would have read, what's it called? The Name of the Wind, immediately after finishing The Wise Man's Fear.
Really?
Yeah, I probably would have gone straight back through both of them, because I know I missed so many things.
I'm afraid to even go on to Wise Man's Fear, because I finished Name of the Wind 8 months ago.
Yeah, no, you can't.
I'm certain I have to start from scratch again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if I could even name them all. I literally have to go through my Goodreads. I'm at 138 for the year, so there are definitely ones that I very much am excited to pick back up. I haven't really been disappointed by anything that I have purchased on paper so far this year, which is cool.
Have you read everything you purchased on paper? Even used bookstore books?
No, but I'm close.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I organized my shelf the other day, and I'm at maybe 30% of shelf read.
If we're not counting giant gold-bound novelty books, then
I don't think you have to read those.
Yeah, I'm just, but they're on the shelf, right?
Right.
So I'm probably,
I would say when it comes to anthologies, I have that Sherlock Holmes anthology. I'm just straight up not going to read.
I'm probably 75 to 80% of shelf read.
Dang. Yeah. So I buy, typically if I go to the bookstore, and this is not a hard and fast rule by any means. I go plenty of times and don't do this, but typically if I go to the bookstore, I will buy a Star Wars book, canon or not. Typically canon, new canon.
Yeah,
I will buy a Star Wars book, and I have not read most of those.
Well, so in addition to this, I bought the bookshelves that I have in March. So
I will say, hold on, this is exciting. I will say this: I do have first edition Empire Strikes Back paperback.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that one, and I have Han Solo's Revenge in first edition.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So I've for this reading competition, I have purchased a lot of new paperbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And like many of them never made it home before they got read.
That's wild.
Like I did this for a while. I did this for like 8 straight books where I would like go to Barnes & Noble in the morning, buy a book, go like sit outside somewhere and read it, all of it, and then go home and put it on the shelf. And you know what? That feeling never got old.
I believe it. I think I have a copy of Angels and Demons, which is one of the few longer paperbacks that I've read this year. It's like 500 pages. I think that classifies as longer.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a very quick read. It's a very easy read. But because I read it on paper, like the spine is just cracked so perfectly, and like there is nothing more satisfying than finishing a long-ish book and putting it on your shelf. But now I have so many paperbacks that I'm like, Audible credits will build up and I'll be like, oh, I want to read this and it's on my shelf. I'll just listen to it, but I don't want to because I want to get the nice cracks.
I just finished Twilight Breaking Dawn as a like original first edition hardback, and if I never have to do that again, I'm cool with that. Like if I never have to read a 750-page hardback
book
ever again, I'm cool with that, right? Like,
do you go home and you pick up your Deathly Hallows book and you're like, God, this sucks.
Yeah, no, thank you, done with that.
Please,
can I get the whatever? Can they do the Game of Thrones thing where they put them all in like tiny Bibles, but for Harry Potter?
Yes. It was before she said everything turf-like, but I bought like a box of paperbacks and I was like, these are my reading copies. Yeah. I will read from these.
Yeah, I want the cheapest possible paperback of that.
Yeah, I do have Sorcerer's Stone as a mass market paperback. Very proud of that one.
Yeah, I am a fully become a paperback supremacist. Like I fully believe in the paperback.
But what looks better on your shelf?
I mean, I just have so many paperbacks at this point that like it makes sense. I don't know
with that.
But also, my shelves are not organized in any way.
No,
not particularly. No,
mine were. And then I took everything down to separate between like read and unread. And then I got distracted and I just came back from vacation where my mother-in-law was staying at my house watching my dogs. And she just put every book back on the shelf. So if they're organized, I don't know how.
They are. My books are organized by aesthetic, but not color.
I don't like the organized by color thing people have been doing.
But they're also not organized by author. Well, I mean, they are. Like I keep the authors that I have multiple books of next to each other, but not in any alphabetical order.
See, I typically do alphabetical order as best I can.
But I also have my bookshelf set up because it's just a Billy bookshelf from IKEA, 2 of them that I use. So like the shelves float in between them. So like I have shelves of all widths. So like they're just sort of set up randomly in a way that sort of looks good.
Where are your books?
My living room.
No, I don't think they are.
They are. I don't think they were here the last time you were over.
I was over there for Project for Awesome.
Yeah, that was January.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Have I not been there since then?
No.
What a world.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We'll have to have you over when we get the puppy.
Yes, I want to meet the puppy. Also, since we last recorded a podcast, you no longer have a girlfriend.
Yeah, you're right. It's been a big couple weeks.
Yeah.
Kate and I got engaged.
Woo!
I think most of the people that listen to this show know that, just based on the amount of likes those posts have gotten on various social media platforms.
Maybe not. Who knows? Maybe somebody's listening in like 10 years from now and they're like, oh man, it was right after the engagement. They watched Dune. Yeah, her and I went to see it together as an engaged couple, as fiancés. Fiancé. Are you tired of the word fiancé yet? Or is it still the best?
Not really. No. I was very tired of the word girlfriend and boyfriend because that stopped feeling genuine at some point just because we've been together for so long. We like live together, have, bills together. We're getting a dog together. So yeah, I just, went ahead and did the thing. So we're getting married.
That's so exciting.
You have some exciting news too.
Do I?
Yeah.
I went to Disney World.
You have a niece.
Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to share that. I'm sure I am. I'm sure they'll post it. My niece was born this week. Hey,
if they don't know today when the podcast comes out, they'll know tomorrow when your brother's podcast comes out because it's already been recorded and edited.
Yeah, my niece was born. Beautiful little Addison Carlin. I don't know if that name's public or not. I don't know her middle name. I know that
as of yesterday, she didn't have one.
Okay. I know that. So I don't want this to become a thing. So listener, this conversation is between us. You can chuckle at it now, and then we're going to move on from this thing because I know Ben doesn't want it to become a thing. But Jonathan has a son with a Star Wars name in Luke. And I have a son with a Star Wars name in Finn. And Ben has one child. And we were like, well, you got to do the Star Wars thing. Well, he's like, well, we're doing Addison. And we're like, okay, so do the middle name. The problem is the only applicable Star Wars name for a girl is Rey.
Addison Rey.
And so his daughter would have been Addison Rey. But Addison was
boy.
immovable because the name means something, so we couldn't change that. So yeah, it would have been Addison Ray or Addison Yaddle, I guess would be the only other.
Yeah. Addison Leia.
Yeah. See, that's the problem. Is like Padme's not like a. Yeah. This is Addison Amidala.
I will say that is the one thing that this movie gets right is they have a Paul and a Jessica.
I so disagree. I thought I was watching The Fast and the Furious.
I'm just saying. You can name your kid Jessica pretty easily.
Yeah. Granted, Luke is a biblical character. So is Paul. So we were good there.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So also, Finn is the cutest. Have you seen that kid?
He is.
Dude, is he cute. Although, take a look at Addison. She's stinking adorable. Look at this. This might be the cutest picture I've ever seen.
Yeah. What a bean.
When are you and the missus having babies?
Well, she's not the missus yet, so
I'm gonna go
after
ahead and
that.
apply that. I'm gonna go ahead and apply that pressure.
After that, we're getting a puppy.
I got puppies. Let me tell you, puppy, baby, just skip to the good part.
Yeah, but we already have we're signed up for the puppy already.
I will say, in about 10 years, you're gonna have a bones no bones puppy, and we're gonna get to determine our entire lives based on
Ethan's corgi.
Ethan's corgi.
Yeah, I'll be the spiritual successor to Noodle.
That is, I think Noodle will be long since gone 10 years from now.
You never know. Maybe he is magic.
Maybe. I'm betting not. Also, if you're listening 10 years from now, do you remember that pug thing from TikTok? That's big right now.
Also, if you're listening 2 months from now, do you remember that pug thing from TikTok?
Right. And then it died? Oh, so sad.
I mean, Noodle was on the Today Show, so it is definitely on the way out.
Oh yeah, that's killer right.
It's gone
there.
Mainstream.
Yep.
As soon as we got Fallon interviewing Noodle and Pug, it'll be over.
Oh god. Fallon interviews those mythical boys all the time.
He does. If you're listening to this podcast tonight, you can sign up to watch Good Mythical Evening, the live stream from Rhett and Link where they're going to cuss.
No way.
Yeah, they're doing Good Mythical Evening October 28th.
They've been wanting to do that for so long.
Yeah.
It's other news. It's cold here in the Star City.
It is cold here in the Star City. It dropped to 15 degrees today.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was like when the sun was up, it was cold.
Yeah, because I was at your brother's office today, and I walked over there at 9:45 this morning, and I was like, nice, kind of warm fall day. And I was walking home at 5:15, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
It's still
this
cold.
T-shirt is making me cold now.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Don't you hate it when wind pierces your clothes?
Yeah, when I'm wearing just a T-shirt and it's 54 degrees outside or whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, which I'm not complaining. It's a very short walk home.
It's
a very, very long walk home. I live nowhere near the Super Carl and Rose office, which doesn't exist, and neither does my apartment.
Good.
Nowhere do I. Definitely not above a restaurant whose name I've mentioned before on this podcast.
Good.
In fact, I've moved since I said that. I know that it's crazy. I took the wall with me, though. With these doors, these double doors behind me, they're great. Can't hang anything on them. Fantastic. Had to bring them with me.
I live in a house. That's all I'll reveal. What do you think is on my TV right now?
Don't dox yourself. Looks like college basketball.
Looks like college basketball. That is what you can see is an ad for the flight attendant as well as the Ready Player One poster. It is the HBO Max login screen.
Interesting. Well, I can only see the little corner there.
Yeah.
And it looks at the end of a basketball court. I've not watched The Flight Attendant. I did read The Flight Attendant though. Great book.
Is it Kaylee Cuoco?
Yes.
That's how you say it. Yeah. I think I've seen an episode. I think it was hey, Kaylee, you're in Big Bang Theory, right? You want to try that out again? I could be wrong though.
It's very much not like that at all.
No? Is it hey, Kaylee,
it would
you
be
were in Big Bang Theory?
If at the beginning of season 2 of Big Bang Theory, they woke up and they were like, yeah, by the way, overnight, Penny killed Sheldon. Just murdered him in cold blood.
Did you?
And now the cops are looking for her.
Big Bang Theory. Did you watch it?
Yeah, for a long time. It used to be really funny, and then it wasn't.
And it was bad. It was just bad.
It very quickly went from this is a funny show, I enjoy it, to if you watch this show, I think that you're trash.
Yes. It didn't survive the way How I Met Your Mother survived.
No.
Which is weird because How I Met Your Mother is not I love How I Met Your Mother to my core.
It's not great though.
It's not great.
But at least it remained watchable till the end of its run.
Yeah.
Which is something not a lot of TV shows can say, honestly.
I'd say the last 10 minutes were rough.
A little bit rough. But I'll forgive that, right?
I do forgive it. I think they were doing some pandering and the network told them what they had to do and they just did it. And
that is a scarecrow.
That is a scarecrow. Bo Burnham's big right now. If you're listening to this in 10 years,
I
he
could
was
sing.
bigger earlier in the year.
Yeah, he was bigger earlier in the year, but he has maintained a shocking level of relevance on TikTok.
Yeah, recently he went to a Phoebe Bridgers concert where Phoebe Bridgers sang one of his songs.
To be fair, she's been doing that every night.
Yeah, but like he didn't know that.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Well, either way, you got to see like audience reactions of
Yeah.
Bo Burnham listening to like, which is kind of like a big deal because 10 years from now, if you're listening, you might not remember that like he did this special and he wanted to perform live, but like he didn't get to see how an audience would actually react to his music, and then he got gypped at the Emmys. It's like a whole big thing.
But yeah, you got to see a lot of people live reacting to Bo Burnham watching Phoebe Bridgers sing That Funny Feeling.
Yeah.
You also got to see a lot of people live react to the fact that Bo Burnham is very tall and
I've known this.
standing in front of them at a concert.
So this is a fun fact about Ethan and I. I think we revealed this on the show before. Bo Burnham previewed what at our university
Yeah.
for a free show.
Still, one of the funniest single jokes I've ever heard in my life was the one he said about seeing you.
About seeing you. What's your mascot?
We're
Your
the
captain.
captains.
You can't all be captains. Somebody's got a fucking row.
The funniest thing anybody said about seeing you in the 4 years I went there. But yeah, we
It's
got
so fun
to
'cause-
see Bo Burnham for free,
Yeah.
which was incredible.
And that show was so, like, what I loved about that show, about what in general. One, have you watched Inside yet, Ethan?
No.
I think you're ready. I think you need to watch it.
Probably, but I've read 138 books.
Well, it's an hour and a half.
Yeah, but I don't watch
so.
things, is what I'm saying. We'd have to
if you watch-
recover it for this show if you want to watch it this year.
Well, this is the first movie of the new year. Dune is number one.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I know.
Boy, howdy. Yeah, Dune is number one. Until next week when we cover Twilight Eclipse.
I have a feeling Dune will remain number one, but I'm not like
I don't think so.
sold on
I
that
don't think
feeling. I will say in Twilight news,
It won't be. Hey, it won't be Breaking Dawn Part 1. I'll tell you that much. That's 100%er. Easy, easy 100%er.
we learned something recently. My dog's name is Stella, which is very similar to Bella.
Yeah.
And she runs away a lot. So like every time we see her, we get to be like, Stella, where the hell have you been, Loca?
Stella, where the hell have you been, Loca? Oh, he doesn't say it in the book.
I've heard.
I'm still disappointed.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that for you.
It's fine. I'll survive, I guess. Let's talk about Dune. We got off topic of Dune.
I want to talk about Jason Isaacs in the nude getting chewed out by Jason Isaacs?
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac.
Not
Who's
Jason Isaacs. Jason Isaacs is Lucius Malfoy.
You're right.
So when you were like, I want to talk about Jason Isaacs in the nude, I was like, okay.
Oscar Isaac in the nude. I was
Getting
able
chewed
to
out
go
by
on Rise-
Stellan Skarsgård.
I was able to ride Rise of the Resistance last week, so I've seen his best work.
His best one. When he
not
in this
Stellan.
movie, when he's like, I always wanted to be a pilot. I'm like, yeah, we all know, buddy. We're all aware.
Whatever you say, Poe.
Yeah.
Have you seen the sequel trilogy? Those movies are so good.
Yeah, they're so good.
so good.
Oscar Isaac is a treasure.
Oscar Isaac, I got to do Rise of the Resistance. I would recommend you go down to Florida just for that.
I value my life too much to go to Florida right now.
Oh, I'm fine. Florida's down on cases.
We'll see.
Well, my kids are super sick. That's the damn truth. My daughter has a disease called hand, foot, and mouth, which if you listen to this 10 years from now, that's still around.
Probably. As I would imagine is COVID-19.
Yes. But hand, foot, and mouth is a virus that we're not actively seeking a cure for. So
Have you gotten your Pfizer and Johnson booster this year?
I have not. I need to get it. Because I was vaccinated way early, like in February.
Yeah,
so
same.
I need my booster.
I love that the CDC is like, yeah, you can mix and match boosters. It's fine.
I feel like that's like sometimes the CDC does stuff where it's like, I really want to back everything that you say and really buy into, like, I'm pro mask, pro vax 110%. But sometimes they say stuff where I'm like, maybe you should have added a little bit of guidance here.
The thing is, like, I think what people are not realizing is that the booster is just realistically just another shot, like just a third dose.
Right.
And so, like, at this
Well, 'cause you
point,
don't go-
yeah, you're
that was
you're
what
totally
was with
fine
the
to get
first-
another one.
The first 2 doses was like, they didn't ask, oh, is this your second shot? Let me get the second shot syringe. They just gave everybody the same syringe.
That's not true.
No?
No, they like schedule you at a second shot time.
Oh, I don't know. I don't have my card. It's gone.
Oh, I have mine. I went to Manhattan. and you need it to get in any building in New York.
I have a note from not a note, but I have like a printout from Carillion that I'm sure would work around here. Definitely would not work in Manhattan.
Yeah, that was what shocked me about going up north in like Manhattan and Boston. It's like, you need the Vax card to get into a building.
Yeah. That's going to be a challenge. They're going to have to come out with a more universal version of it, though.
There is a digital version, just not a lot of people know about it.
Do I have the digital version? I thought you had to like scan your original one.
No, you have you like registered.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I want like one.
Tyler, you got the microchip, bud. Like,
yeah,
all they have to do is scan you.
They know where I am because of this.
There's no such thing as a temperature scanner. It just checks if you have the microchip or not.
What would the microchip?
Let's talk about Dune.
Dune.
I expected you to love this, honestly. I really did. I thought this was going to be the kind of psychobabble garbage that you were going to be like, yeah, no, I love this like with my whole heart because it's sci-fi and because people like it.
I'll tell you my text to Casey because I was talking to Casey while I watched the first half hour. If I can find it.
I figured your desire to be the anti-contrarian was going to lead you to love this movie.
So I very badly want to love Dune in its entirety.
You do. I just don't understand the way you think about things.
I found a series that I think I would like more than Dune that I'm excited to read, but I'm afraid to say the name of it because I'm afraid people will message me and be like, if you like those books, you're the worst.
Tyler, I just profess my undying love for the Twilight books. Sack up.
Yeah, no, because like that's one thing is like Ethan really loves this campy series of books. But when I talk about books I really like, people are always like, that sucks. You can't like that.
Yeah, because you just keep talking about Ender's Game, which you can't like.
I love Ender's Game. When I asked you what book you read this year that you want to reread already, Ender's Game is the book I was thinking of.
I know. I'm aware.
Ender's Game. I almost listened to it on the drive home from Disney.
Here's the thing, though, is like, we've had the vampire mythos around for a long time, right? There's been a lot of vampire fiction. The way that Stephanie Meyer thinks about vampires is simply more interesting than anybody's done since at least the 60s. It's the only interesting update to the vampire myth in the modern era. That's all I'm saying. Unironically, love those books and movies. I was wrong. If I ever gave you shit for liking Twilight, I'm deeply sorry. Anyway, go on. What's the book series?
The first one is Red Mars, and then I think it goes Green Mars, then Blue Mars.
This is Hank Green approved.
Is it?
Yeah, I believe so.
It's a very like it was an award winner, like an award you've heard of, like a Hugo Award or something like that.
I think it was a Nebula. Hugo is
Nebula. So the first one won one of them, and then the second one won a different one.
Gotcha. Hugo, I believe, is like
I don't
fantasy.
know if it's Hugo, but
like
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like there's two big awards you've heard of, and it won both of them.
But no, yeah, one of those books winning one of those awards was like News from Mars on.
They're not new books. The first one came out in like 1996, I think.
Then maybe it was getting an adaptation or something. I don't know. But I remember Hank Green talking about them on Hank and John. They're Hank Green approved, so you're probably good.
Yeah, my understanding about these books is that they're very The Martian meets The Martian Chronicles.
Yeah.
In that it is Mars society, but Earth sciencey.
That sounds rad.
Yeah.
I like Earth sciencey.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited about it. I bought the first one because it had the award on it, and when you see the cover, you'd be like, yeah, I'd buy that too. I think it's Kim Stanley Robinson is the author, which I read the name and I was like, female sci-fi. No, it's a man.
Yeah, Kim Stanley Robinson. I started reading something by him. I don't remember what.
So I'm very excited about that series. Anyway, I was texting Casey, and he said, "Are you guys going to review Dune?" I said, "Yes." I'm about 39 minutes into it right now, and so far my review is specifically that I prefer Willow, which is a Casey movie. And then I said, specifically, if you're going to give me a Cold War era thinly veiled allegory, then please don't. I want an original story in my epic sci-fi. He said, fair enough. And I said, but it's good. I don't mean to crap on it. And then he said, I loved it, but it may be a situation where it's too late for some people since it's a book from the 60s. Most sci-fi since then was influenced by Dune, just like most sci-fi was influenced by John Carter, and that movie came too late. Have you read John Carter?
I have not.
John Carter is
that movie was awful, though.
Yeah, but it's like the opposite. It's like The Martian meets not The Martian Chronicles. It's like less Earth science.
Okay.
And less Mars, but more Mars society. And then he said George Lucas was a Dune lover. I said I can vividly see where
George Lucas stole everything from Dune.
And then I said I can see Star Wars, Ender's Game, Mistborn, all sorts of stuff coming from this. Mistborn is just what I've been reading right now. But yeah, Mad Mardigan would have made this better. Have you watched Willow?
No.
Oh,
no, I haven't.
Willow.
Mad Mardigan is a name I think I only know from like the McElroys.
Mad Mardigan is also in Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Not as like a character, but is mentioned.
Yeah. So is I'm sure a lot of Dune stuff.
I'm certain they go to the planet Arrakis.
Again, I've seen Dune, but it's been a long time. So like when I was watching this again, I was like, I I know a lot of these words from this, but not from this.
Yes.
I know a lot of the words that are said in this movie from not this movie.
I feel like Dune is one of those things that, like, it's like Wheel of Time. There's very few great epic projects that like exist in the literary zeitgeist that haven't made it into the entertainment zeitgeist. You know what I mean? And now we're gonna have to deal with Dune existing as a movie and Wheel of Time existing as a TV show.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know that I'll ever be able to sit down and read Robert Jordan.
I think you'd be okay with that. Is the thing, like, because I think they're just
I don't
gonna
have to read Wheel of Time.
I think they're just gonna make Wheel of Time into like a TV show.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That like gets enough of it right, right? Like
right.
Whatever you want to say about Game of Thrones, it's not a bad adaptation.
Yeah,
at least of the first couple books.
This is a weird side effect of Dune is I feel like after watching Dune, I could read Game of Thrones.
You could definitely read Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is very, very readable.
I think that's been
yeah.
I think I was afraid Game of Thrones was not very readable.
No, Game of Thrones is an exemplary piece of fiction. Like, not necessarily in like a big brain kind of way. In a like it's fairly accessible kind of way. It's a lot like Dune, actually. It's very political. Like internally political.
Is it gonna be like Rocky? Am I gonna finish Game of Thrones and be like, that was like watching Rocky?
No, I don't think so.
Is it that Cold War on the nose?
No, it's not Cold War at all.
Okay.
It's more recent, significantly more recent. It is also post moon landing.
It is post moon landing, and that changes things a lot. I like the imagination of the pre moon landing 20th century.
Did you read 2001 this year? I can't remember.
Is it Arthur C. Clarke that wrote 2001? Arthur C. Clarke is on my list of like, I need to consume everything this author has written.
You need to read 2001.
I know. There was it wasn't a first edition, but there was like a classic copy of the second book in that series at the lake house I stayed at. I did not steal it. I very nearly did. I pulled it out and set it on the bar and was like, I want this so badly.
You'll absolutely love it. It is literally exactly what you're talking about of like pre-moon landing Earth sci-fi.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Like it's fascinating because it's very it's legitimately Cold War, right? Like it takes place in a world in which the Soviet Union always exists.
Right. Into the
future. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I really like? There's a weird line here, but you know what I really like is Hidden Figures. Big fan of that movie.
Okay. That's nothing like Dune at all.
No. But it is earth science. But it's also not fiction.
This movie
has too much earth science. This is where it fails me, is they measure things in meters. They have earth names.
Because I think it takes place like in our future.
Yes.
Like not the future, like our future. Like
yeah, like
I think that's why Duncan, Idaho is Duncan, Idaho.
Right. The Caladan would be an earth settlement.
Caladan, yeah.
Caladan
would have at one point theoretically been an Earth settlement. Yeah, 8,000 years ago.
8,000 years from now.
Well, yeah, but like we live 8,000 years before Caladan.
Yes.
To the point I think that Caladan is just Caladan.
Oh no, I don't mean like Caladan is on the planet we're on now.
No, I know, but I'm saying
I
don't think that I think it's gotten to the point where like Earth probably doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
At least not as Earth.
Right. It has become uninhabitable.
Yeah, I don't think that Earth is the center of the Imperium.
No, me neither. Could be wrong. That would be a wild twist. I do remember when I was a kid, I think my dad didn't. No, he definitely did. I think somebody at one point told me that Endor was Earth. Maybe they were telling me like, yeah, they filmed this on Earth. Like, obviously.
Hey, I mean, Endor could be Earth.
It's a moon. Well, the planet they're on is a forest moon of Endor.
Yeah, but I mean, it happened a long time ago.
That's true. But I think when I was a kid, I was under the impression that like Earth was part of this galaxy that they were.
Gotcha. That there were Ewoks in real life.
No, but that was like this galaxy's version of Earth.
Fair.
Maybe we would look like Ewoks to them.
We are not hairy though.
It says the two bearded men.
That's fair. Yeah, I want to talk for a second about Stellan Skarsgård because we don't talk enough about Stellan Skarsgård in any movie he's in.
I think we could skip Twilight and go on a Stellan Skarsgård bender and just watch Mamma Mia 2 next week.
I mean, I'd rather do literally any other Stellan Skarsgård movie, like like Good Will Hunting or
Mamma Mia 2.
No, we got to figure out what we're doing though because we have to do Eternals the week after that.
Oh man, do we? I have to see that.
I mean, it's a Marvel movie.
I know. I'm going to watch it. I'm sure I'm going to like it. I'm sure I'm going to come out of the theater and be like, yeah, it's unjustified.
I got to find time to go to the theater is the problem.
Yeah. Well, you get a week. I mean, there's a weekend in there.
Yeah, that I'm like at a wedding.
I know. We were supposed to play D&D this Sunday, and you were like, yeah, I'm at a wedding. And I was like, on a
It's also
Sunday?
Halloween.
You're at a wedding on a Sunday on Halloween?
Yeah.
I guess you're in like the punk scene. That's like a sacred holiday to punk people.
But not my friend.
Oh, is it Caitlin's friend?
Yeah, from high school.
Oh.
And then her sister getting married that following Friday. So I'm like not in that wedding, but involved with that wedding.
You have to go to Caitlin Friends from high school's wedding on Halloween instead of playing D&D with me?
Yeah.
It's kind of some kind of friend you are.
Well,
you get engaged, and all of a sudden...
Hey, I was invited to this like 18 months ago.
That's a long time.
It was supposed to be last Halloween.
Oh, last Halloween there was a virus.
Yeah.
Deadly virus.
Yeah, there was a deadly virus. So I've got a lot of stuff to do between now and when Eternals comes out. And then I'll be in Fredericksburg until Sunday. And then I guess I got to come home Monday and see Eternals.
Well, they have movie theaters in Fredericksburg.
I'm not going to have time to go to the movies. Caitlin's parents also live like literally, like I couldn't go to a movie that's closer than 45 minutes away.
That's wild.
Yeah.
What did Caitlin think of Dune, the new fiance?
She was unimpressed for the most part. She felt like she was missing a lot, kind of frustrated.
Emily sat with me for the first 25 minutes, and at one point she was like, "Can you pause it? I've literally been paying attention to everything they've said, and I have no idea what's going on."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Yeah, this is." And
I could see her in the seat next to me, just kind of like, yeah, I don't know about this. And I'm like, I literally can't help you. I don't know anything more than you do.
This is an epic sci-fi.
I know that Gurney's probably not actually dead. That's about it.
I know that
that Paul becomes the Kwisatz
I think they keep referring to one of the worms as God. I don't know.
The worms... Yeah, the worms are the god of the Fremen.
So, like, the worms as a concept are the god of the Fremen?
Yes.
I know that at the end of the movie, Legolas was, like, skating on a worm, and I was like, dang.
Yeah. Yeah, because when Kynes is about to die, she's like, I have one master, and his name is Shai-Hulud.
Yeah, and Shai-Hulud is
the sandworms.
Is the worms, yeah. I like the worms.
Yeah, they're great. They're, I think, one interesting piece of this whole thing that is like sandworms as a concept. I spawned from this, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You don't get Welcome to Night Vale without Dune, is what I really realized, and that's a good thing.
Maybe we should read Dune.
I'm gonna read Dune in January when I have time.
How many books are you gonna read in 2022?
I would love to keep doing over 100 a year.
100's a lot.
I've really enjoyed this, honestly.
So keep doing it. Who's stopping?
No, nothing. Nobody's stopping me. It's 2 books a week all year.
I think the reading thing, I've been thinking so much about my own mortality lately. Not in like a weird morbid way, but like 365 days is just not that many days.
No, it's really not.
And I think that like that's really hit home here in my late 20s. That like, oh man, life is very short.
Yeah.
It is. It's going by. Like, I feel like this sounds sad. I think I'm coming to peace with this reality more than I am like dreading this reality. But like it's a very clear mental shift from my like teens and 20s where I was like, I'm gonna live forever.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about this.
Okay.
At all.
We do not have to.
This is what I talk about in therapy.
Really?
Yeah, well, yeah, so my mom died when she was 62 and I'm 28. That's not...
Yeah.
That's about halfway for me. That's terrifying.
I believe in you.
I mean, I same, but like these are the things that keep me up at night. So I've also been thinking about my own mortality, sort of in a morbid way.
Yeah.
So this is what I talk about in therapy: is not wishing days away as much as possible.
That Dune shouldn't be 2.5 hours long.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
it
true.
Should be.
No, I mean, Dune should be 2.5 hours long. It's fine. I said something interesting to Beth Regals that I don't think I had ever thought about until I said it recently. But what I said to her was that every movie you've heard of is worth a watch. Like if that's how you choose to spend your time, go for it.
I just get so confounded by people. Like we exist in this very like we're film people, but on the most casual of scales. I would say that how many movies do you knock out in a year? I think I'm between 70 and 80 because of this show. If we took the show away, I would be at maybe 30.
Yeah, probably. It hasn't been how I, spend my time since I got my own free time until we did the show.
And it's because I love that we engage in this.
Same.
Medium. I do. But when I go to like talk to movie people who knock out 250 a year, I think it would be easier to read that many books.
I wouldn't.
Well, no, I wouldn't either, obviously. But
it like, wouldn't be easier.
250 like new movies, like movies that came out this year or new to you movies. That just I cannot imagine.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be nearly as far in the book challenge if I couldn't reread books.
Yeah, I would say if I ever do a book challenge again in the future, I'm eliminating any rules against rereads.
Yeah.
Reread whatever you want. If it brings you comfort, if it's... you read it 3 times this year, count it 3 times. I don't care.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to do at least 100 next year. Until it stops being fun, right? Like, until it stops bringing me this innate sense of inner peace. Or until I actually write a book of my own.
Are you doing NaNoWriMo?
I mean, I always try.
I think I'm going to give it a go.
November's such a shitty month for it is the problem.
It's just a short month. There's Thanksgiving right there.
And it's just like I always have stuff in November.
I can't think of a month where I don't have stuff. So there's not like a good
No, but like if it was, I don't know, April, I'd probably do better.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a good old whirl this time around. I want to write the whole thing on my Chromebook. I think that would be like a fun little additional challenge to it.
I am probably going to do NaNoWriMo this year as addition to something that I've already written, to try to finish a book instead of start one. To get from 25K to 75K instead of 0K to 50K.
I think you could do it, Ethan.
I think I could too.
Here's my thing is if we do it, I would say if I write at least 25,000 words, if I want to shoot for the whole thing and finish a whole story. But if I just write the first 25,000 words, like if I get that far into it, I'll put it on Patreon. Not as you have to be like a patron to see it.
Yeah.
But it's not like I think this is worth money.
It's just like you kind of want to hide it.
Right. Like I will put it out there for people who have engaged.
You want to hide it under
content.
a bushel, but not extinguish it.
Right. And I think,
I've been watching Midnight Mass. Man.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's great. You'd get a real kick out of it.
You think?
Yeah. Maybe not quite as much as me, just because it is like
Catholic, right?
Yeah, it is like specifically about Catholics. But like I think you'll get a good old kick out of it. About the warped way that they use the scripture. The writing is fantastic.
Oh, I believe I would like it then.
Yeah. It's so good.
Have you seen Squid Game? Have you watched that?
No.
I was talking about shows with my therapist, and she was like, you are not allowed to watch Squid Game. I'm prescribing you're not allowed to watch it.
I have very little I want to watch it to like engage with it or whatever, but I have very little desire to add that kind of negativity to my life.
Yeah,
right
my
now.
understanding is the show is about like prisoners, and then you get the backstory on the prisoner where like you think they're going to make you sympathetic towards them, and you're like, nope, I hate you.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely heard it's a very interesting message.
I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's fantastic.
Yeah, I just have no desire to put that kind of heavy emotion into my life right now.
You got engaged.
I did. Been riding that one for 5 whole days.
I saw that you went for a gold band, and I
did.
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
Silver's been in vogue for a long time, and Emily's is white gold as well. I'm a big fan of the yellow band.
I am too. And I think Caitlin was always like white gold, white gold, white gold. Then all of a sudden she changed her mind and was like, this is what I want. And I was like, that was the exact same time I was like, okay, let's go for it. Just like happened to line up that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I it's just, I like the traditional kind of thing. I have this yellow gold bracelet welded onto my arm.
It's a Billy bracelet, right?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't do them anymore.
That's pretty cool.
Billy's like closed.
Well, they moved to Los Angeles.
She had already moved to Los Angeles when I got this one.
Oh, wow.
It was still there. I think they like just shut down entirely.
Oh. What was I going to ask you about?
I don't know, but yeah, I do love the ring. She picked out a very good one.
Oh, were you gonna do a gold wedding band?
I am, yeah. That's my plan, at least.
So you don't have it? It's not like a heirloom or anything?
No, I don't think my dad ever owned one. Honestly,
really?
Yeah, I have like vague memories of him wearing one when I was like a young kid. So if it exists still, I do not know where it is. I guess I'll find it if it exists when I like finally clear the house out. But yeah, I mean, and Mom's was just a plain gold. I have that one, but it's way, way, way too small.
Well, yeah.
It doesn't even fit. It goes like onto the knuckle of my pinky.
Well, I mean, you can get your own.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, I was just saying that I don't have like an heirloom, but no, I don't have it. I'll probably just do a straightforward gold band. I kind of want to have a wood one as well.
Why is that?
Just
like you've seen them, you think they're cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say like men's wedding bands is a market that's about to hit you on Instagram.
It already has.
Yeah.
It has ever since I got on TikTok, honestly.
You don't get like dad bod t-shirt ads?
No, I never got like ads on TikTok. I got like Etsy creators.
Yeah.
Being like, I make men's wedding bands out of like,
random stuff.
NASCAR piston rings.
Yeah.
Like,
and there's some cool ones out there.
There's some cool ones out there.
I'm not a NASCAR guy. But
there's some part of me that's like, yeah, if you could make my wedding block out of the piston cylinder of a full bore Chevy NASCAR engine
of Jeff Gordon's
like, there's some part
car.
of me that would think that was cool. But no, yeah.
Do you ever catch yourself in that? Do you ever catch yourself buying something and being like, this is for a hobby I don't have?
Oh yeah, definitely. Hobby I'm not interested.
I do not invest my time or energy into this whatsoever. Now I have this thing for that activity.
Yeah.
Not even a useful thing for that activity. I love the idea of hiking. I'm big into the idea of hiking. So I end up with, I like collect Sasquatch stickers for no reason.
Hey,
I don't hike.
hey, Marie Kondo would tell you that that is okay.
Yeah, because they bring me joy.
They bring you joy. What was I gonna say? I don't know. But yes, I do get ads for dad bod t-shirts.
That is the first, like, immediately I will not buy your product.
I swear to God,
Do you hate your beer belly?
they're not even.
Yes, I do.
I swear to God, they're not even ads for t-shirts. They are a PSA sponsored by women to stop their husbands from wearing graphic t-shirts.
It's got to be what
It's got to be it. Like, it's a campaign for solid t-shirts.
And it's not going to work. I was a solid t-shirt guy.
It'll work. You'll be a solid t-shirt guy again in, I don't know, 24 months?
Well,
Fully.
yeah. Well,
it's going to come and go forever.
I was a solid t-shirt guy for a long time. Currently, I'm almost...
That's the thing is, everybody was a solid t-shirt guy for a while. Like when we were in college, that was a whole thing, right? And then it became graphic tees, and then we're gonna go back to solid tees, and then it's gonna go back to graphic tees. There'll be some V-neck supremacy in there.
Henleys will make a comeback.
Henleys never went out. Henleys have always been cool.
I think Henleys are out.
They're not out.
Imagine this shirt with no collar.
Well, that is a patterned dress shirt.
It's from the old James Crew.
Yeah, that is a patterned dress shirt. And it's a full button up. It's a full button up.
It is a full button. Yep.
The Henley is not a full button up.
Correct. It's like a polo without the collar and a little more raggedy usually.
Mm-hmm. Made of t-shirt stuff instead of polo shirt stuff.
I used to have a Henley from the old Abercrombie and Fitch that was like a size small that I wore well past my size small life.
You're a big like thermal shirt guy too.
Loved thermals. Loved. I've nowhere to wear a thermal.
No.
When we boarded up with I go to day job work. I have like blazers and double-breasted coats and stuff. But when we flew to London, I wore a white dress shirt with a thermal over top of it as like a sweater.
Yeah.
On the airplane.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed of that. I'm embarrassed of that to this day. Genevieve probably thought it was cool.
I wore a cream-colored sweater with leather elbow patches.
It's badass.
It was. I missed that sweater. It frayed at the because it had Henley buttons. Mm-hmm. And it frayed at the buttons and just like opened a big hole. Irreparable.
Gone to the ether forever.
Gone to the ether forever. Well, we talked about Dune a little bit, I guess.
I think we talked about Dune a lot.
It's a movie.
I think we could even make little blips out of some of our comments on Dune. We're not going to because that sounds like extra work.
We could. We probably won't, but we could.
We could. I think we had some good quotes. I think I will see out of context Bacon and Eggs quote me on Dune, and I'll be like, "Hey, that was a good one."
What movie was I talking about?
What was I talking about? That's a good one. And we'll just go on. They got a little Crispy and Clyde logo. It'd be great. Ethan, I've got a trivia question for you.
Okay.
In the Indigo League, Ash is unable to select a Pokemon at Professor Oak's office because they've all been taken by other kids who woke up on time.
Yeah.
What Pokemon was Ash going to take?
Squirtle, right?
Squirtle is correct.
Yeah.
What was his third choice?
Charmander.
Correct.
Dang.
Yeah.
All right, let me
What is the first Pokemon Ash releases from a Pokeball?
Caterpie?
Butterfree is released, like sent back to the wild, but Ash throws a Pokeball that has Pidgey inside of it first.
Pidgey.
But it is not his Pidgey. But they go to the Pokemon Center. I've been watching Indigo League.
I can see that.
Classic stuff.
I'll tell you, I've been spending a lot more time with your brothers recently, and so I've started getting like ads for like Pokemon cards.
Yeah, as you should.
Just like all over the place. And I'm like, I don't have that kind of money.
No, you should just buy booster packs.
Well, I don't think you can buy booster packs in Roanoke, Virginia. I think your brothers have all of them.
I mean, you can buy. They currently sell them at Target. Like you can buy them there.
Right? Yeah. I think your brothers buy all of them for like the whole city.
They buy them, I think, from distributors. They don't buy them because you can't. Like most of the stores won't sell you more than 2 packs.
I have no idea where they get all those cards, but there's a lot of them.
There's so many cards.
Okay, hang on. I'm doing a listener score. Okay, I have a listener score.
All right, let me punch our scores in.
Okay.
We're into the year 4, which is its own exciting thing. Are we keeping the rubric the same? If we're not, I'm not changing it right this minute.
No, we're year 5.
Year 5 is what I meant.
But yeah, I think the rubric worked.
I do too.
But if we change it later on, just write down what all the scores are for this one.
Okay.
So we can think about it later on.
Metacritic was a 74, right?
Yeah.
All right. Listener score. I am ready.
It is an 82.
82 listener score.
82.3.
Recap down the board. I gave it a 79. Ethan a 75. Rotten Tomatoes an 84. Metacritic a 74. our listeners an 82, and Rotten Tomatoes audience a 91, which gives it a Bacon and Eggs score of 79.85, which rounds up to an 80 to start year 5. An 80 last year, just for reference, would have been 27th overall, beating, was it 79.85 is what I said? It would have beat Cars and lost to Cinderella.
Nice.
No, I'm sorry. It would have beat Cinderella and lost to Easy A.
Fair enough. That's Dune for you.
That's Dune.
Cool. Well, welcome to Bacon and Eggs year 5. Glad to be back. Next week, we're going to cover a movie. Don't know what. Maybe it's a Twilight movie. Maybe it's not. Who knows?
Could be.
Could be. Tyler, I got a thinker question for you here real quick.
Okay.
And stop me if you heard this one on TikTok, but I still want to know your answer. Would you rather have all of your meals shot at you out of a t-shirt cannon, or every time you leave your house have to win your keys back from a claw machine?
I have not heard this one. I've heard the t-shirt cannon prompt, but never in this context.
Would you rather have all of your meals forever shot at you out of a t-shirt cannon, or every time you leave your house have to win your keys back from a claw machine?
I think I would go for the claw machine.
I would absolutely go for the claw machine. I think after a few days, you'd get very good at beating a claw machine.
Yeah, because when I was a kid, we went to the beach, and one time there was an arcade nearby that had a claw machine that was not play till you win. It was pay to play.
They're all pay to play.
No, there are play till you win claw machines. You never seen a play till you win?
No, that defeats the whole purpose of a claw machine.
Right, typically they're Smarties or something in them, but this was stuffed animals. And by the end of the week, we had won almost every item in it. So I'm certain you would get very good at a claw machine.
And that's a marketable skill.
And also, let's think about this. If my keys are in a claw machine every time, I can't lose my keys.
You can't lose your keys. B, you almost certainly can't drive drunk.
Yeah.
And you really gotta, at that point, because you gotta think about do I need to go to Target right now?
I don't think I do.
I don't think I do, actually. You know what? I'm gonna let the claw machine keep them today.
I think it would be much easier for you to put your keys in a claw machine. I would wake up and be like, do I need to go to work today? I hate this claw machine. I'm late for work.
I do need to go to work today.
Drat.
Or you'd start biking to work.
Yeah, I feel like I'm taking the Super 73 today.
No, that starts with a key.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm taking the Trek, taking the Gary Fisher.
Taking the Gary Fisher. Oh man, I missed podcasting with you, man. It was a good 2-week break, but it's good to be back.
It is indeed good to be back in. I've saved the Dune scores. That's all I got. Anyway, that's all I got.
Anyway, that's all I got.
He's Will Ashton. And for cinemaholics.com, our music is by Vaishon Brandon. I don't know what I'm saying. Do you want to do the thing?
Yes, our music is by Vaishon Brandon. No.
It's not.
Our music is by Andrew Scott Bell. AndrewScottBellMusic.com, and our graphics are by Vaishon Brandon Graphite. Nope, Vaishon Designs on Instagram.
Or you can find Vaishon in any video put out by Christopher Newport University for the past 10 years.
Yep.
He's the black guy.
Yikes.
We're doing great here at CNU. Go Captains.
Yeah, woo. Go Captains. I didn't even think about what's going on when I put this shirt on.
What? Oh, you talking about with the professors?
With our homophobic professor?
Yeah, not thrilled with her.
That they refused to fire?
Though. Yeah, that's not great. Not great. Not good optics.
Woo. Yeah. Alma mater we adore, right? Anyway. Bacon and Eggs production WBNE Podcast Network. For this show and more shows like it, go to WBNE.org or search for any of our great shows wherever you get your podcasts. And now on Spotify. And for another show, That's What I'm Talking About, here's a preview right here.
Hello, my name is Mary Clay, and on That's What I'm Talking About, I'm experiencing the world of J.R.R. Tolkien for the first time. I finished reading The Hobbit, so now I'm watching the movies. And sure, they have their ups and downs, but at least the dwarves are nice to look at. And good news, guys, the hot dwarves are here. It's Keely and Feely, and in particular, Keely's the hottest.
He would be a Keely's the hottest type, you know?
Yes, the hot dwarves are here. Have no fear. That's What I'm Talking About. New episodes every Tuesday wherever you get podcasts.
You could also listen to Unsobered, which is a show I don't think we talk about enough here. Julia Kendall. Here's a preview for that right here. Double preview this week. Boom! What are you going to do?
Hi, I'm Julia, the host of Unsobered, Badass Women of History and Literature. The podcast where I talk about the women that the history books, history classes, and the general public often overlook. Or who just get a brief mention, but we never really know the whole story of their impact on the world we live in. On Unsobered, I share the stories and histories of these badass, amazing, and strong women, And while I tell you the history we don't get from traditional history classes, I get more and more drunk over the course of the episode. So join me to learn more about your favorite women, or to find a new favorite woman that you didn't even know contributed to one of your favorite things, with new episodes every other Friday.
Just like extra work for Ethan. Extra stuff to do. Extra stuff to remember to do. Fantastic. Love it. Thanks, Tyler. Anyway, he's been Tyler Carlin. I've been Ethan Edgehill. Until next time, arrivederci.
Arrakis.